macro view ng iyong kino-cover na laro. Dati, I'm sure it was just as easy to just roll out the ball but I'm sure there was also preparation even before when nung panahon nila Willie Hernandez, Jack Garcia, sila Peter Benson, si Joe Candado, it looked like he had not made so much preparation. Pero grabe si Joe maganda.
Grabe
He would
yun.
watch all things. At saka yung vocabulary niya talagang never to be repeated yung kanyang nagawa dito sa sport sa atin. Yung nagawa niya, he was a league of his own.
Alam mo, Sev, no, yung isang game involves, let's say, sa basketball, nasa loob ng korte, 10 tao yan. Ibig sabihin mo, yung mga trivia in between the game and in between the plays, no, yung mga a little bit about this person and that person and this person and that person, na nabibigay nyo minsan eh. Sometimes kami, paano nyo nalaman yun? No? Yung parang aside from the play itself, meron kayong pinapasok. May kodigo ba kayo? I mean, may harapan nyo, may cardboard ba kayo dyan?
Meron din naman. May notes kang hinahanda kung sakali. Yan, nakikita nyo sa screens nyo. Yan, masipag yung production staff mo. Pinakialaman yung Facebook ko. Yan, yung nasa left, yan yung running score. Ano? Watch as the game progresses, dinanote mo scratch paper na yan. Tapos, ayan, no, kita mo, sinulat ko na yung opening ko para hindi masyadong ad-lib ang dating para alam namin ng direktor. Tapos yung nasa taas na yun, mga numbers, mga pangalan ng referee, pangalan ng... Andyan lahat yan. Lalo na, Mel, pagka yung international coverage, yung pronunciation, challenging, ano? Like minsan, nagawa ko Thailand against Malaysia. Alam mo naman mga pangalan ng Thailand.
Oo nga.
Anatratana po, Churepo, Chankarachon. May mga short.
Bang ganun. Hirap doon
Nung Olympics noon, nagawa ko yung Russia against Yugoslavia, nung may Russia at Yugoslavia pa noon. Laging challenging yan. You won't get it right perfectly all the time, but you try as best as you can. And then, what stories, tama ka, what stories can you weave in habang umaandar yung coverage? Like, when you talk to the players, talk to the coaches, you get an understanding. Then you have to learn their language. Hindi pwedeng... you have to understand when they say isolation play, right? Corner baseline, scissor cut, all those nuances of the game, regardless of the sport, like volleyball, tennis, or golf for that matter.
So talaga, Seb, it's not really an easy job. It's an enjoyable job, yeah, fine. But really, it's not an easy job. Talagang, you really have to prepare before appearing before the TV, ano? It's just like, as a matter of fact, sa tingin ko nga, baka mas mahirap pa sa inyo eh. Kasi ang dami yung mga analytics dyan.
Yeah, meron, you have to work with the partner. Ikaw, tayo, matagal na nag-uusap pag nagkikita tayo sa Channel 5. I'm sure when you did yung dati mong programa, nung nag-a-advise ka ng mga legal advice na binibigay mo, lahat yan, may mga set questions yan, alam mo going in, may biglaan. Pero I'm sure lahat yan pinaghahandaan mo. Like all possibilities, no? What if this player is used and not used? What is the impact of this player not playing on the team? Why is this coach, bakit lagi nagagalit tong coach na to? So there are nuances of each field na naintindihan natin, na binubusisi natin para maintindihan ng ating mga viewers.
Alam mo, ang hirap rin nun, ano? Kasi you have to, kayo ba tumatawag sa mga coach, etc. Ano na nangyari sa player mo? Bakit ganun ang laro? Bakit medyo pangit ang laro niya? Minsan ba may ganung klaseng research?
Alam mo, Mel, the best time is before the game. Yung pag nasa hallway ng Araneta, ng MOA, o kuminsan yung mga coaches mahirap i-trace at track down pagka telepono. Kinite Henson ang magaling doon kasi dahil sa column niya na kakausap niya lahat yan. Pero ako, ang style ko, aabangan ko sila sa hallway after the game. Tapos you also are a little discerning kasi may mga bagay na hindi naman pwedeng isa publiko. Halimbawa, galit yung player dahil hindi na gamit ganun kahaba. Kawawa naman yung player pagka sinabi mo on the air yun that way. Puput into hot water siya doon sa coach at sa management niya. So may discernment din. It's interesting to find out from the players and how you weave it into the game. Halimbawa, si Arwin Santos, bakit siya ganun ang style niya maglaro? Kasi sa kanya, natural yung ability niya eh. And kung minsan may mga player, sobra ang galing that kung minsan you can't put them in a box. So you have to understand yung mga ganong special players.
Alam mo, Seb, no, nandyan ang basketball, nandyan ang volleyball, nandyan ang gymnastic, and I'm sure, ikaw tinawid mo yung iba't ibang mga larong yan, ano? At iba-iba rin ang mga system at disiplina at ang mga rules niyang iyan, no? So, I could just imagine na nagbabasa ka ng rules, yung mga wordings ng mga foul doon or whatever, gymnastic words there, kinakabisado mo rin, ano? At ang tanong ko sa iyo ngayon, minsan ba nalilito ka na i-interchange mo yung mga words dito sa game na yan, sa words sa game na yan? Yung ganon?
Oo naman. Oo naman. Minsan, may mga fans, okay lang sa kanilang hinahalo mo. But you have to be aware when it matches the situation. Halimbawa, ang hindi na masyadong ginagamit ngayon, baseball pass. Yung binabato ni Jaworski na pag ano, no? Binabate parang from outfield to the catchers doon sa may home plate. A lot of people may not appreciate that. So, ang mahirap yung audience mixed eh. Meron yung mas matanda sa atin, meron yung age group natin, meron mas bata. So, like for instance, if you do PBA, ang audience mo is really mixed. Meron yung mayaman, meron yung middle income, meron yung nakikinig sa iyo, nanonood sila magkakapit bahay sa iisang television, may nakikinig sa iyo sa streaming. Iba naman yung market mo pag UAAP ang ginawa mo. Iba naman energy ang gusto mong i-transmit doon. Kasi very young ang UAAP. Kaya nga, hindi ko ma-imagine ang UAAP na walang crowd na lalaruin sa bubble, halimbawa. I hope they don't go in that direction. Pero kasi ang saya ng UA kasi is the students
That's
going
correct.
crazy, enjoying themselves. At saka, it's great for their communities kasi. Yes, napag-halo-halo. Alam mo, nasabi mo yung paghahanda, no? Noong 2018, I was the only Filipino that was sent to the group known as Dentsu Broadcasting sa Asian Games. And I did sports there that I normally do not do. Handball, synchronized swimming, gymnastics. Thank God, meron tayong YouTube ngayon, ano?
Yes.
Kasi biglang nagre-research ako, papanoorin ko terms. Saka may mga isang katerba notebook ko rito sa bahay, mga terms, pag nanonood ka rin ng ibang announcer, you learn also from them kasi. And I guess that's the key in all professions, ano? You want to try to be the best. You learn from those who also do this. And there are many guys who are quite as good better than me.
Do you review your own performance? Yung okay yung video, titingnan ko nga saan ako, para akong pumalpak dito titingnan ko nga kung saan. Do you review your own performance set?
Yeah. You know, ang colleague natin si Dayan Castillo asked me that long time ago. Do you watch yourself? Are you hard on yourself? Sabi ko, yes, Dayan. And kuminsan, no, you cringe. Yeah, there's Dayan on when we were younger. That's the 1991 SEA Games. We were doing the tennis matches at that time. I'm hard on myself that literally inuumpog ko yung ulo ko on something when I say, ay, nako, na-miss. Ay, nako. Mali. Tapos babasahin mo halimbawa sa diaryo the next day. Then, one sports editor told me, si Francis Ochoa ng Inquirer told me, don't be too hard on yourself, Sir Sev, kasi alam mo naman, real time kayo eh. You have no opportunity for reflection. Kami sa print, may moment pa may after the game, pwede pang mag-isip ng konti kayo. You're putting captions as it happens. So, yes, you look at your delivery, the good ones, itatabi mo lang, pero yung bad ones, ako, haba na listahan ko yan. Meron ako niyan.
Ito. Yung delivery, nabanggit mo na yung delivery. Talaga bang, minsan before the game, ini-imagine mo na, okay, at this point, sasabihin ko, fantastic. At that point, sasabihin ko, phenomenal. At this point, sasabihin ko, palpak. Do you also do that? Do you plan that?
May mga baon. May mga baong lines na for certain opportunities bago ito. You hope it happens. halimbawa, no, yung madalas i-identify sa akin yung and listen to this crowd roar. A lot of our fans seem to connect that phrase with me. Timing eh. Halimbawa, na-shoot ng Ginebra and you just don't say, ako kasi inalis ko sa vocabulary ko sa sports yung exciting eh. Kasi I try to look for other ways of saying things. Halimbawa, na-shoot ng Ginebra. Pag sinabi mo, and listen to this crowd, yun, tatahimik ka na pagkatapos kasi up mo sound man yung Ginebra, Ginebra, and that makes for great television and great sports coverage altogether. Yes, you do. You sort of anticipate, but ang hindi mo hinahanda, yung giving nicknames to the players.
Yeah.
Tsamba lahat. The ones that I gave names to, no, si Pinto Pumarin, The Bullet, Tsamba yun. Yung isa, si Gio Halalag, hindi ako nagbansag. Yung writer namin, si Chakaraneta nagbansag. Ako lang gumamit. Ang laki ng tsamba rito. But sabi nga ni Orson Welles, the trick there is to make it look that you prepared and the confidence to make it look easy. It does look easy, but there's a ton of effort and preparation that goes into it.
Alam mo, no, it's such a beautiful thing, no? Nalilipat nyo yung linggo ng one discipline to basketball. Like for example, yung cardiac game to, wow. Oh, sabi ko, wow, galing it's so innovative rin eh. Very creative thing, di ba?
Si Pingoy Pengson was one of my mentors, and I don't think he's been given enough credit for what he has done for the game. Yung cardiac games sa kanya, Pingoy worked in advertising and worked in radio as a DJ in Cebu for a very long time. Just a very classy guy, and he taught me many things about how to call the game. Gave me many opportunities. He gave me some of his slots as well, and that gave great opportunities to learn. Yung cardiac game, sabi niya sa akin, tsamba yun. Tsamba yun. It just happened, and it is now part of our basketball lingo. Ang isa po, Mel, ang dinadagdag, yung nasabi mo sa opening mo, no? Kailangan naintindihan mo rin yung basketball lingo, yung mga naglalaro ng tapluhan at saka limahan sa kalye. Kailangan alam mo rin yung linggo na yun. Without sounding offensive. Halimbawa, sasabihin mo, natamba ka na. Nasumpalpal. Butata. You have to use it occasionally to keep the audience with you.
So talagang there is a conscious effort to relate them to the audience, no, Sev? There is really that conscious effort.
Ito alam mo to kasi nag-umpisa ka rin sa radyo, no? Ako lagi ko ini-imagine yung mga taong nakikinig sa kotse. Pag nagra-radyo ako, nakikinig yung mga taong nakikinig sa kotse, yung security guard na inaanto, yung mga driver na nag-aantay sa mga boss nila. Yung sa bahay naman, o ngayon, naiisip ko yung mga senior citizen na nanonood ng basketball. Alam mo, ang nagbago, Mel, pinagsabihan kami ng ilang fans on Twitter, huwag daw kami sisigaw masyado. Alam mo bakit? Kasi nakikinig sila sa earphones na streaming na, di ba? So, I think sinisigawan namin sila. Kaso sabi namin ng mga fellow announcers, we cannot sacrifice yung energy na yun for those who are listening in. We'll just have to tone it down and find ways to make it bearable for those who are listening to sa earphones.
Sportscasters, yung normal block. Minsan ba inaatake ka noon yung sportscasters block? Parang walang pumapasok sa isip ko ngayon. Do you get that experience also?
Lalo na pagpangit yung laro. Pag walang binibigay yung laro, halimbawa sa volleyball, talagang yung isang team walang maibigay against the other. And it's a rout, tambakan talaga. The advantage of television is that you can shut up and let the viewer see what's happening. But then, Mel, yun ang trigger for analysis. Why is this happening? Why is this team not improving?
Yes.
That's where you engage your partner. Bakit nangyayari to? Ano ang kulang? May kulang ba sa players, sa strategy, preparasyon? So, you wait for those moments, you prepare for those moments, when to use those different buttons that you have.
And sinabi mo kanina opportunities, no? I mean, is that the system yung naghihintay ka ng opportunity or pwede ka mag-audition and try to work it out at makakuha ng employment. How do you do it? Where is the luck? Does luck play here sa system na to? Ano mo sasabi mo dyan, sir?
If I were to look at my own story, ako alam mo naman ako, Mel, college pa lang tayo, katok talaga ako. And, we did our cheer rally in school wherein I imitated the voice of Joe Cantada and George Javier was on the court. They played 2-on-2 during one of our cheer rallies. Then I kept, si Joe Cantada, I really idolized him and I kept the voice forever sa akin. In fact, nung eulogy, and I was the MC then, I used his voice, Ang interesting doon sa audition ko is that ako kasi, nung nasa advertising ako, ang gimmick namin, yung isang director na kilala ko, pinapatay niya yung basketball audio tapos sabihin niya, sige, lokohin, babuhin mo yung laro. Tapos aasarin ko, gagayain ko yung boses ni Joe Cantel. And there is a deep understanding between this player and that, and the cacophony of sounds, kasi ang galing ni Joe maggamit ng words,
Yeah.
And eventually, I got to do it in front of him. Tawa siya ng tawa when we finally, and I learned so much more from him. May chamba ito, Mel, no? Sometimes there are not too many opportunities, not too many jobs. Wala kasi tayong baseball at football. It's mostly volleyball, boxing, and basketball, volleyball, and boxing are the main ones. Sa States and other countries, mas maraming opportunities. Tinago ko na yung litrato na yan, kinalimutan ko na yan. May buhok pa kami lahat yan. Pero that's a long time ago. But luck plays a role. Luck definitely plays a role of being in the right place at the right time. One of our colleagues, si Mel Sta, does a lot of these workshops for guys who want to try. It helps, but it also helps. May kailangan may roundedness din ang anyone who wants to be in broadcasting because at the end of the day, hindi pagandahan ng boses eh. Hindi pagwapuan nito eh. It's what in between your ears that matters and what kind of sense do you bring to your coverage.
Alam mo, Seth, sabi mo nga, broadcasting, and broadcasting is just way of words, no? Words talaga yan eh. Ako natatandaan ko nung nag-umpisa ako sa broadcasting, may mga sinasabi akong kataga sa Pilipino. And pagkatapos ng show, sasabihin sa akin ng producer, director, Mel, huwag mong sasabihin yon, nakakailang. Ano yon? Sinabi sa akin, yung naman, huwag mong sasabihin sa dyaryo yung naman, babalik na naman po tayo para ka kasing masungit. Sabihin mo, muli. Ganun ba yun? Wow, natututo ka. So, meron palang structure dito. Diyan sa basketball game na yan, may ganun ba o talagang freewheeling yan? Meron ba kayong iniiwasan ng mga kataga na dapat hindi ko sasabihin?
Oo naman. One, hindi offensive sa players. Two, meron mga street talk na hindi maganda pakinggan on television. Halimbawa, may tiras na tumama sa edge ng board and apologies to those who may not find this pleasant on your program. But just to use it as an example, yung patay ang butike. And we have all decided a long time ago that that term is horrible for a Philippine broadcast coverage. So we don't use that anymore. So certain terms, no? Each field, kaya gaya, Mel, alam mo to, mas nag-news ka kaysa sa akin. Ako natutuwa ako doon sa mga words na suspect, halimbawa, na ginagamit ng ating mga kasama sa news. Suspect, tapos yung samantala, di ba? May kanya-kanyang nuances ang bawat field. So, ang sportscasting, meron din may mga words na bawal. Pero nahalata mo, nahalata ko rin sa ito mula nung nag-uumpisa ka. You always have to remind the viewer of the score. Where is the game right now? Kahit na nakikita niya yung score sa screen, kailangan sabihin mo yung score, kailangan sasabihin mo yung kung ano yung time remaining, ano yung sino yung lamang. Tapos ang isang challenge lagi sa akin yung subtraction, Mel. Halimbawa, ang score, 97-89. Wow. 7 at saka 9. Okay. Sasabihin ko, it's a big lead by that. Pero pag ang 110-100, madali yun. It's a 10-point lead. Madali lang yun. Basta divisible by 10, wala tayong problema doon. Basta, doon magaling yung mga partner ko, si Tinito, si Dr. J, mabilis sa kanila ang numbers eh. Sa akin, struggle sa akin na. Basta yung mga be visible by 10 at saka by 2 pwede tayo dyan.
Okay, Sed, sandali lang, huwag kang aalis. Magagap lang tayo, ha? Mga kaibigan, ang sarap ng ating pinag-uusapan ngayon. Palagay ko, medyo bitin pa kayo. Pero sandali lang po ito, mga 20, 30 seconds lang po ito. Babalik po kami ni Sev Sarmenta. Dali lang po. Okay, nagbabalik po tayo dito sa ating programang The Dean Mel Show. Ang panauhin po natin si Sev Sarmenta. May tatanong ako kay Sev. Sev, alam ko, tayong mga Pinoy, siyempre may paborito tayong mga koponan, mga teams. Ako, Hinebra ako eh. Talagang since the beginning, dahil kay Jaworski. Ikaw ba, kahit na wag mo sabihin sa atin yung paborito mong team, may favorite team ka ba?
Ako, pagka ang challenge lagi sa akin, yung Philippines against anybody else, hindi problema. Bias ka na nun, automatic. You try as best as you can to balance the coverage. But when you're covering your country, you're automatically cheering for your country. And you try to make it sound as fair and as professional as possible. Because you have to respect also the opponents, whether it's Korea, Japan, kahit sino pa yung kalaban. The challenge always, Mel, PBA hindi problema eh. Na-develop ko na yung even lahat sa akin yan. Ang problema lagi pag Ateneo ang involved. Like for instance, ng 2006, lamang ang Ateneo going into the last couple of seconds and Ateneo eventually lost in overtime. My thought lagi is I have no problem with Ateneo because Ateneo is such an old, stable institution. It will take care of itself and this is just one game. Ang naisip ko na patalo ng Ateneo was the students and my nieces and my nephews from UST are probably enjoying the moment right now. So nung natapos yung game, ang first thought ko was, and UST is the champion of the 2006 UAAP. Tapos bahala ni mga director ko siya, Ateneo, JC Intal was downtrodden and everything. Sa akin, pagka yung school sports, ako riot pag Ateneo at UP because I went to both schools. And sometimes sa FEU, and you're from there, my father and my mother taught there for a long, long time sa FEU sa Recto. So there are some schools that you have a closer affinity to eh. But at the same time, I've learned to cover Ateneo na deadma. Sometimes I don't watch Ateneo anymore. I watch the other team. But I've learned also when it's Ateneo LaSalle, it's both fun and impressive when LaSalle plays extremely well. And then because iikot yung cycle, Ateneo naman ang magiging a lot of the young students who have enjoyed the recent championship with Ateneo struggled in 2001, 2002, bago siya nag-champion because LaSalle was so strong and continues to be strong. So there are nuances in every league and you try to manage your biases as well. Downside ng sportscasting. Any downside? Ano ang nasasakripisyo mo dito? Sakripisyo is you work on Christmas. You work away from home. You will miss birthdays. You will miss special moments in the family. But they understand it. They know naman that you're on the road. But I love also the part of visiting different parts of our country. Ilang probinsya na lang hindi ko napupuntahan. I enjoy visiting with the PBA or with the cycling tour or with volleyball, visiting other parts of our country, because you can see the passion of our young people to really get into sports, and that's where you find, uy, may silbi naman pala yung ginagawa mo.
Do you participate in writing the script, editing the highlights, sasalita ka tungkol sa mga portions doon? Do you participate in each and every segment of the whole system?
Wherever I have worked, we've always had big general meetings discussing how we should cover. But before every game, may tinatawag na pre-production meeting. We discuss the game story created by the producers. And then I will mention, palagay ko, huwag muna natin unahin itong number na to. Sundan natin to para ikakabit ko dito sa sunod. As long as your suggestions are well placed and seem to be logical, the production will understand where you're going to. And at the end of it all, if may nagturo sa akin producer nun pag pogi yung mga announcer, ibig sabihin ng pogi yung mga announcer, kahit babae pa sila, if the announcers look good and they look smart, it's the effort of everybody, because tayo yung dulo ng production Tayo yung connection ng audience, boses natin, mukha natin, tayo yung taga-kwento. Tayo yung tagadala ng lahat ng effort ng buong grupo. Halimbawa, yan si John Vic, yung nasa picture na yan, yan si John Vic na yan, galing na player. Captain ng ating men's volleyball team na nag-finish ng silver ng huling SEA Games. Ito, bagong-bago to. So, sasabihin ko sa kanya, basta magkwento ka ng volleyball, akong bahala sa'yo. Huwag ka kabadong-kabado yan the first night. Saka sabi niya, Sir Sev, ganito. Sabi niya, kunwari, umorder tayo ng popcorn, nanood tayo ng volleyball, nagkwentuhan tayong dalawa. Yun ang dapat ang dating natin sa ating viewers. Na pinag-uusapan natin, yung mga tanong nila, yung mga gusto nilang malaman, bakit ganito pinalo ito, bakit nag-i-error, ikaw magsasabi mo. And I work with, go ahead please.
Seb, so concerned ka rin ba, halimbawa nasa in front of the TV ka, syempre kitang-kita ka ng buong bansa, your right profile, kung saan ang dating mong maganda, kung anong suot mong dapat isuot, are you concerned with that, o talagang meron ka ng proper uniform and whatever side you take me, I'll do it, ganun ba, o are you choosing?
Siyempre, ang una nating critic, yung mga asawa natin. Yan ang unang magsasabi sa atin na hindi tama ang kombinasyon natin, na wala sa lugar yung buhok natin. Ako, ang idea, ang concept, is tayo'y bumibisita sa mga bahay ng ating mga viewers. At dapat decent enough tayo. Hindi naman pwedeng hindi tayo naligo before tayo pumasok sa mga bahay ng ating mga viewers. Tayo po'y kumakatok sa bawat isa at kung nakikiraan po, baka pwede pong makibasketball sa inyo. Nandito po ang inyong laro.
What is your most favorite ever memorable game na na-annotate mo? Ano yon?
Okay. Favorite na talo. And a lot of people may not like me for this, was when the Philippines lost to Korea in Busan in 2002. It was a painful loss. If we won that game, we lost it in the last second of the game when the Korean player scored the 3-point shot. When I watch it again nowadays, it's a painful experience, but still unforgettable kung yun lang ang batayan. The second is the Ginebra win in 1991 when they were down 3-1 and Rudy Distrito fires the shot from the side and in the way he just scores. That to me were probably those two that stand out in this long career.
Do you think, Sev, we will have another Jaworski, for example, yung aura, yung charisma ni Jaworski, yung papasok lang sa korte, wow, alam mong big time, naghihiyawan ng mga tao. Do you think we'll ever have another personality like that in basketball?
Not with the same fervor, not with the same pizzazz, and not with the same controversies. And the Big J has had his share of interesting controversies in his life. And all part of the persona. of the myth and the legend of Sally Jaworski. But here's the important thing. Sally Jaworski works on it sincerely. I have a little story for you. My brother-in-law, si Dr. Jojo David, had a patient who was dying. And he told me, is it possible kung pwede magpunta si Sunny Jaworski? Medyo mahirap pong request ito. If Coach Sunny can see this man before he dies. And little did I know, I talked to Jaworski, along with the late Ronnie Nathaniels, but I talked to Jaworski and we said, kung pwede. Sige, pare, titignan ko. Ganun yan eh. Ganun lang yung titignan ko. Then, little did I know, biglang nag-scramble lahat. Pupunta daw si Coach Sunny sa UST. And he went there and talked to this dying man. And he was, sabi mo, politiko, superstar. I think it comes from a natural place. I think he also saw that when he was an actor for FPJ, when he was very young, kinuha sila nila Freddy, and he would often appear in FPJ movies. And FPJ was also an interesting character, and also was very sincere in dealing with his fans. And I think Sammy learned a lot from that, from being with FPJ as well. Ako, I don't think, Mel, I will say out loud, at least in our lifetime, I don't think we'll see another Jaworski.
Yeah. Dito sa mga Seb, let's say for example, ako gusto ko maging sportscaster. Okay, there is an audition right there. Okay, in front of me, 2 days from now, 3 days from now. Anong gagawin kong preparation? What things will I bring with me? Ano ang klaseng preparasyon na gagawin ko?
Hopefully, before you think of the audition, may background, may basic gift of language ka, no? Ang dami na nag-audition kasi ang riot dito. Marami tayong mga kababayan, mga street announcers, mga nagko-call ng game sa mga inter-barangay. And I've been busy. I visited. I came from that kind of environment, you know. But siyempre, ang call nila ng game hindi pang broadcast. So when you go, many have audition thinking that that's going to work and don't realize how hard it is until they are done with their audition. Audition is usually 1/4 of basketball. To prepare, turn off the audio of one game and try doing it by yourself. Ako kasi laro namin to ng brother ko nung maliit kami. We would turn off the audio and he was my analyst and we would I was the play-by-play. So I was kind of ready when I auditioned. I was very lucky, you know, yung first audition, my first and only audition for this sa Vintage, I actually passed. And because Pingoy Pension was supposed to go to the States then, I was already accepted. But Pingoy decided to stay and I moved to radio. And you and me will probably agree wholeheartedly that the best place to start is radio. It teaches you many things. So, in preparation for that, know your terms, know your basketball, or know your volleyball, and there has to be a willingness to share with your partner. Ang daming nagsumusubok mag-audition, pero hindi marunong mag-share and mag-work with the partner.
Alam mo, Seb, napaalala mo yung ginagawa mo ng kapatid nyo, no? Naalala ko rin nung bata ako eh. Alam mo, yung paglalaro mo ng sarili, kasama na yung annotation eh, di ba? Habang naglalaro ka, sinasabi mo rin yung nangyayari, kunyari, now he's dribbling the ball and then it's last second. It's part of that already eh, di ba? Ngayon ko lang na yung ina-annotate mo sarili mo habang naglalaro ka, sinushoot mo lang sa wastebasket yung yung papel, di ba? Did you do that? Did you do that most of the time nung bata ka?
Oo naman, hanggang college tayo, no? Alam mo, nung college tayo, wala tayong masyadong pera, estudyante tayo. I would referee IAC games, ha? Kasi it's 50 pesos per game, so I would do 2 games, may 100 pesos ako para pang panligaw nung araw sa college, di ba? Para meron akong pera. Yeah, we did a lot of that. And you know what? When I started, I really loved the way Dick Ildefonso was so cool. Kahit nagkakagulo sa loob ng PBA or MIC, hindi siya nararaffle. Di ba? Atoy ko, fires from the outside. Yes, it's the fortune cookie with another 3-point shot. Di ba? Napaka-cool. Then when I met him, then he said that I've always been like that. Nakasama ko siya ng Olympics ng 2000 kasi sa Sydney. Then si Joe Cantada, Joe would always share, sige, gamitin niyo yung mga words ko. Bahala na kayo dyan. Yan na lang ang pamana. Wala naman akong pera. Yan ang pamana ko sa inyo. And to this day, we still use many of these terms very liberally. And we all know, pag joke, nakikindatan lang kami pag joke-antada lang. Lalo na si Andy, who worked with him mas matagal kaysa sa akin.
Alright, okay. Ngayon, Sev, meron kaming ano dito. The Dean Mel Challenge. Ito Sev game ka Ito paggagawa ko.
Dito ako kinaan.
Alam mo ba itong nasa background ko? Ito parati pinapatingin ko sa guest ko Yan, Beatles yan. Si John, si George. Sino favorite sa Beatles mo? John, George, Paul, or Ringo? Sino?
Ako, paborito ko si Ringo kasi siya yung most underrated. Si George Harrison, for some strange reason, underrated din. Pero si Ringo, no, when you realized lately that he was such an innovator as a drummer pala, no? Kasi hindi ba may diferensya yung kanya shoulder. So the way he did the drums was different. That's why people and drummers of the present generation find him an innovator. Halimbawa, no? Pakinggan mo yung Come Together, at saka yung Ticket to Ride, iba yung hampas ng gitara. Pag nadinig mo pa lang yung intro, alam mong si Ringo yung pumapalo. And nakakatuwa siya pag kumakanta siya Kasi bihira siyang kumanta, pero pag kumanta siya ng Yellow Submarine, at saka yung Octopus's Garden, nakakatuwa siya di ba? He's just so interesting and fascinating. And mukhang ano siya no? Siya yung cool Beatle
Yeah, siya yung cool Beatle pero alam mo, ang pinaka-favorite ko dyan si kay George Harrison talaga ako kay George Harrison.
Talaga?
Pero ako yung sa medyo low-key, pero ang gaganda ng kanta niya di ba? Ito, ang ating ang ating Dean Mel Challenge. Since I told you a lie, sabi ko hindi kita pakakantahin, papakantahin kita. Ang gagawin ko, kakantahin ko yung first phrase, kabitan mo tignan mo kung alam mo ito, number 1. Ito, numero 1. Ito.
Sige.
Kakantahin ko na hindi pa kayang-kaya pala to. When I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary
comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be.
Wow! Magpalit ka na, Seb. Mag-singer ka na lang. Numero 2. Yesterday. Sid.
All my troubles seem so far away. Now it looks as though they're here to stay. Oh, I believe in yesterday.
Oh my goodness gracious. Beautiful, beautiful. Numero 3. Hey Jude.
Ito may hirap ang Beatles song Ulitin mo.
Ano, Sen?
Ulitin mo. Hey Jude, maganda yun.
Hey Jude.
Ito. Don't make it bad. Take a sad song and make it better. Remember to let her into your heart. Then you can start to make it better. Ayan na.
Oh my God, ang galing. Teka muna, Sir. Anong favorite song mo sa Beatles? Anong favorite song mo? Matanong ko lang.
Wow, that is always, I'm sure anybody you ask, that's going to be a very difficult question to answer. Ako, ang favorite ko, I don't know why, yung malulungkot. Eleanor Rigby.
Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah. That's beautiful. Eleanor Rigby.
Ang gusto ko yung Blackbird.
Ako medyo alam ko yung favorite ko kasi si George Harrison ako I'm a fan Kaya yung Here Comes the Sun, yun ang pinaka favorite song sa Beatles.
Ako naman, yung intro pa lang ng gitara nun, laglag ka na Tapos di ba, yung My Sweet Lord, although controversial yan, supposedly plagiarized. But you can still allude that to George Harrison. George Harrison was the most underrated, probably the most underrated Beatle. But if you look at the video nowadays, kita mo pag bumaback up siya, no, ang ganda ng movement niya at pag tumatabi siya. Tapos ang choreography nila, no, si John Lennon lang may sariling microphone, si McCartney at si George Harrison lagi ang magkasama sa microphone. Kasi alam nila kung kailan sila. That's knowing their roles.
Ang galing talaga. Si Paul McCartney, si John Lennon. Well, John Lennon talaga is just super talaga. Imagine, yung kinanta niyang Imagine, no? That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Wow, Sev! At ito na ang numero 4. Pero hindi Beatles song to. Ito, ayan. I-ano mo nga yan? I-announce mo nga yan?
Parang game.
Parang game, basketball game.
Try natin, ha? Samahan niyo si Dean Mel Santa Maria kada linggo alas 8 ng gabi sa The Dean Mel Show dito sa 1PH. Kami ang boses ng pinagkaisang Pilipinas.
Ayos, ganda. Web, gagamitin ko ha, with your permission. Okay. Thank you. Seb, thank you very much for this 1 hour. It was an honor, it was a pleasure, and most of all, it was a joy for me personally to talk to you again after so many years since nagsama tayo sa platoon natin doon sa Ateneo hanggang nagsama tayo sa TV5 and now dito sa show ko. Thank you very much, Seb.
And sabi ko nga sa'yo, who would have thought, nung bata tayo, nung 1970s, that we would do this again, talking about this. And always a pleasure to see. And saludo ako sa what you've done with both the law profession, sa broadcasting, at sa pagtuturo. Nakakatuwa, Mel, and congratulations.
Wait, one more, Seb, ha? Bago ka tayo umalis. Can you give us 4 basic Sarmenta guidelines in going through your life as a sportscaster?
Okay, sige, try. 1, watch a lot of games. 2, take a lot of notes. 3, study. 4, don't be afraid to make a mistake. Yun.
Well said, well said. Thank you again very much. Maraming salamat. Muchas gracias. Salamat, Seb. Bye. Ayan mga kaibigan, natapos po ang ating interview kay Sev Sarmenta. Palagay ko, madami tayong natutunan. As a matter of fact, sa tingin ko, baka switch, maging sportscaster na ako. Pero kailangan stamina po at saka ang daing pag-aaral palang ginagawa dyan. Diba? Iba't iba ang mga segment dyan at lahat dapat alam nyo. Kaya dapat tayo ay handang-handa kung kayo'y nagbabalak. And sabi nga ni Seb, just be always prepared. Okay mga kapatid, sunod na po ang segment natin. Ask ko lang din. Mga kapatid, at mga kababayan, ito po ang ating katanungan sa gabing ito. Kapag ba may naglalaro sa kalsada ng basketball at natamaan ka ng bola tapos nagresulta sa serious damage, anong pwedeng ikaso sa kanila? Okay, ito po yan. Alam nyo, pwedeng civil case at saka pwedeng criminal case. Umpisahan po natin sa civil case. Alam nyo, basta't sakit kayo, nakasugat kayo, nakapinsala kayo, mananagot kayo. Kung una, nilayon ninyo, inintensyon, o hindi sinasadya, tawag po doon, negligence, o aksidente lamang. Pero sabi po sa ating batas, basta't negligence and intentional, sigurado pong mananagot kayo. Kaya po kayong hingan ng bayad pinsala. Kasi dapat careful po tayo. Careful po tayo. Pinaghahandaan po natin ang lahat ng ginagawa natin. Kaya kung kayo'y tinamaan ng bola, pagkatapos napatid kayo, tapos nagbukol kayo, yun, pwede nyong panagutin yung mga nakahagis ng bolang iyon. Sapagkat dapat hindi siya pabaya. Pero kung purong-purong aksidente lamang po, kung purong-purong aksidente, halimbawa po merong pinasang bola, biglang malakas ang hangin, yung ihip ng hangin, tinanga yung bola, pumunta sa inyo, ay ano po yun, aksidente. Wala pong kinalaman yung nagpasa ng bola doon. Wala pong liability yun. Kaya yan. Kasi pagdating po sa criminal case, meron po tayong reckless imprudence or negligence resulting to injuries. Baka rin po humantong dyan kung ang kapabayaan po ay napakatindi. Ayan po ang ating lesson for tonight. Sana po meron kayong natutunan bukod sa interview natin kay Sev. Diyan na po nagtatapos ang ating palatuntunan sa araw o sa gabing ito. At tandaan nyo po, tuwing alas 8 tayo ng gabi, tuwing linggo, sana po maging habit nyo nang manood ng The Dean Mel Show dito po sa 1PH.
Hanap mo ba yung mga produkto na mas mapapaganda ang buhay mo? Watch the #1 TV shopping in the Philippines. Easy Shop Asia on your favorite cable and free-to-air networks. Watch Easy Shop Asia 24/7 on Signal Cable Channel 34.